After George Santos, the Republican congressman and pathologically lying fraud, a bit redundant, I know, publicly compared himself to civil rights icon Rosa Parks, CNN threw shade at him in the funniest way possible. Intrigued? Then click that like, subscribe, and the alert bell, and enjoy the video. All right, folks, for a while, CNN was on our crap list. And why wouldn't they? Under the brief stewardship of Chris Licht, who is this Republican sympathizing centrist, CNN made a series of editorial decisions that were even more ridiculous than their usual fare. And to be clear, CNN, like any other media outlet, including the Fox propaganda network, is indeed occasionally capable of fairly impressive or laudable journalism. But they have a tendency to try to both sides issues and indulge in false equivalencies because, like the New York Times and Reuters and the Associated Press, they don't want to be tarred as liberally biased. Most mainstream news media, news networks want to avoid that claim because for decades now, Republicans and conservatives have been very, very effective at painting mainstream media as having a liberal bias, even though, as Stephen Colbert famously said, and this is true, reality has a well-known liberal bias. The facts tend to favor Democrats and progressives and liberals, right? So reporting on the facts tends to associate with it a certain liberal bias. And CNN has gone out of its way to try to avoid that claim. So again, they're very sympathetic to Republicans. They did the Trump town hall, which many people consider to be disastrous because of the inability to fact-check him in real time. Now, I say all this because we've been giving CNN flack lately, and justifiably so. And yet, they may have redeemed themselves in this very short clip. So we did a video just yesterday about how Republican freshman Congressman George Santos compared himself to Rosa Parks. Now, Rosa Parks, of course, was a civil rights icon who opposed segregation and segregated busing, and she took a principled stance in that respect. Whereas George Santos, in addition to just being a Republican, which, a Republican official in particular, puts you at a bit of a moral delta compared to other people, he's also, even relative to other Republicans, a pathological liar. Again, he's lied about his education, his family history, his work history, his history of philanthropy. He's been federally indicted, 13 counts, including making false statements. So these two people are worlds apart, right? CNN, specifically Anderson Cooper 360, threw some shade at George Santos in the funniest way possible. So let's play the clip and unpack it.
So let's take a look at the numbers, shall we? Our senior data reporter, Harry Enton, is here. So what does the data show us about how
what the hell is wrong with him?
Polling?
Can I just say that? I mean, my goodness gracious. Look, his favorable rating in his own district comes in at 7%. That's not particularly high. So
I'm surprised it's that high, to be honest.
Well, again, you can get 7% of Americans to agree upon anything. And in fact, I have some examples of that right there.
10% believe the Earth is flat?
10% of Americans believe the Earth is flat.
Okay.
12% of Americans believe that the U.S. faked the moon landing.
Oh, well, that's, yeah, of course.
So obviously, right? So the fact...
That's hilarious. So CNN compiled data to suggest that you can find more people who believe that the United States faked the moon landing and that the Earth is flat than you can find people who approve of George Santos's job. Again, that's hilarious. That's well put. Hopefully that clip goes viral. It's also commensurate with polling that I've shown you before in which, and this is nothing new, this has been the case for basically 6 months, and I can't imagine it's gotten any better, but 80% of George Santos's own constituents, including 70% of Republicans, wanted this man to resign back in January. And now here we are 6 or 7 months later, and he's refused to resign. He's actually publicly committed to running for re-election, even though he initially swore that he wouldn't do that, but he's a Republican official, so of course he's a liar. Yeah, it's not good. And right now, Republican leadership in Congress have to do this awkward dance because they need his vote. Kevin McCarthy needs as much support as possible because he has no margin for error. But he also can't be seen as too close to George Santos because Santos is just vile and repulsive even to other Republican officials and Republican voters. So, of course, I have no sympathy for the GOP. This is the situation and context in which they've created for themselves. They've emphasized an ethos of short-term political gain, and they're happily willing to throw principle and their reputation that they've claimed for themselves as the party of Christ and family values on the bonfire if that's what it takes to gain a short-term political advantage. So this is a mess of their own making. And hopefully the media in every corner will harangue them over it, because George Santos is the embodiment of the modern-day Republican Party.